up. Hopefully you guys all had a wonderful weekend. Look, this is, if you're joining us for the first time or watching this in replay, Monday Sprint Planning. So we are, third week of March, almost all the way through the first quarter of the year. Hopefully you guys are going after your goals. If you were on the affiliate post, you saw today's quote on the board. I know Guy's got a quote there as well. But a goal without a plan is a wish. You know, what do you guys have? Do you have a wish or do you have a goal? And I think that's the big thing, right, Shelly? I all too often, Guy, you and I see people with wishes that they think are goals, and then they're just waiting for a genie to come out of a bottle and, grant the wish. And that's just not the reality, even though that's what a lot of people are focused on. And we're here to focus on goals. We're here to focus on making a plan to achieve those goals. We've talked about it well before the beginning of the year. About, the goal is the Northern Star, and the plan and the system and the process that you implement every day is what takes you there, right? It's the practice of working on those items that lead to forward progress. So a little bit of ground rules for today's conversation. As we do these 4 calls every week, we'll talk about all 4. If you're joining us, please let us know where you're calling in from. Please feel free to leave your digital business card so we can all network together. I'm posting my card right now. So if you want to get directly a hold of me, you have all of my information. Happy to put that out there. And I'm joining everybody from Colorado. And Guy, I know you just got back. We're getting a little bit of snow here again. And yesterday was like in the 50s or 60s. So it's just those Colorado ebbs and flows. Okay, everybody. Let's get into it. This week's topic, and I know if you joined us last week, and if you didn't, go watch the replay. Last week's topic was time freedom. We're going to be focused on these 3 pillars that everybody talks about, right? Time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. So this week's topic is location freedom. And Guy, you and I were talking a little bit before. We were actually talking about some of our own stories on life and what our goals were and things like that. And I want to share a little bit of my own journey and my own story, because many of you may know that I started out in affiliate marketing over 2 decades ago. It's crazy to say over 2 decades ago. It's like 22 years ago, Guy, that I first found out you could make money on the internet from your laptop. And I was a kid. I wasn't quite in the dorm room. It was my sophomore year. I just transferred after a sports injury, met up with some friends, and we were affiliate marketers online. We generated traffic. We sent that traffic to our advertisers' websites. And when that traffic made a purchase, we got a cut. It was called affiliate marketing. It was in its infancy, and we were blown away. This was mailbox money. And the aha moment for me with the location freedom was, we could do this from anywhere. We were basically in front of computers, putting information out there, content, and we're going to be talking a little bit about content on Thursday with Jeff. And we were generating an income. Was it easy? No, it was not easy. Was the process simple? It was absolutely simple. You created web pages and websites. You got traffic to view those web pages and websites, not unlike a lot of us digital marketers today. And when people followed that along and made a purchase, you got some income. So very, very simple process that anybody could implement. And what it opened up for me was a world of freedom, right? The time freedom, because these websites stayed up all the time, 24/7, did the job for us. Location freedom, we were able to do it from essentially a dorm room, a little bit different. We were living off of Interlochen just outside of Boulder on the golf course as sophomores, where a lot of other people wanted to live, and led to a path to financial freedom as well. And I think that's something we want to share with everybody, because there's a path to do that. And that was the first time in my mind, Guy, I thought, wow, the digital nomad, the laptop lifestyle was something that was completely doable. And I finished up undergraduate, finished up graduate school, traveled a little bit, and I thought, where would I want to live? And I'm going to share some pictures before I open this up, Guy, and pass it off to you. This one is my wife and I riding elephants in Thailand, right? And we thought, oh, wow, we could live in East Asia, ride elephants all day, work from our laptops, and have the ultimate laptop lifestyle. until I realized that Thailand was not Colorado. We're really dry out here in high elevation. It's really hot and humid out there, and I was just melting all the time. And I said, elephants are great, but no, thank you. Here's another picture I wanted to share because this one's fun. This is me and my little pug, and we're in a little old VW bus driving around. And I thought, wow, I could live out of a VW bus and work from anywhere. What an amazing opportunity. And then life happens and everything comes along. And Guy, what we're really talking about is our why here. What are you doing it for? And do you have that flexibility? And I want to share these pictures, right? This is my family here, just enjoying some time together. That's that time freedom. I know, Shelley, you were talking about those 2 kids on a Facebook post. I really appreciate that. And that's really what the why is. It's about having the time, Guy, as you say, to do what you want, when you want, where you want. And I think that really fitting for this week's topic of location freedom. We are all in a position right now with LFI to work from anywhere. And if you haven't learned, like the pandemic thrust everybody into that situation. And this is why we're seeing that great resignation right now, where you had the ability, everybody was forced to work at home. And then they realized if they had an internet connection, they could work from anywhere. We saw a lot of people relocating here to Colorado or even some of the mountain towns because they could just live in the mountains and work from anywhere. And I want to leave this, Guy, before I throw it over to you. There is a term in Japan called Shinrin Yoku, and it's really translates over to forest bathing. And I've never been one of those people who loved the city, if you will. My parents' idea of camping was sitting in the hot tub in Vail. And for me, after college, I had my first camping experience. And it was the first time I'd been out in the forest and actually forest bathed. And it was this amazing eye-opening experience and truly set me on my calling, which is more the outdoors lifestyle, sort of the freedom to work from anywhere and that type of thing. And that's something that I've been, participating with and bringing my family along with. And really, it is that freedom motivation more than it is that financial motivation. Yes, the financial stuff comes along with it. But if you're looking for time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom, you have to look for a vehicle that will take you down that path and accomplish those goals. So, Guy, I've been chatting as I usually do for quite a bit of time. I just wanted to get the conversation started with everybody. And I hope you guys will participate today and share your stories and things like that. Guy, I'm going to throw it over to you, and we can talk a little bit more about location freedom and making a plan.
Right. I think location freedom, just like you said, is a great topic, especially this time of year. You're getting parents needing to take kids on spring breaks. Everyone's experiencing those. Had the opportunity to do it. We have a 10-month-old and did some spring break traveling last week with some friends that they actually have kids in school. So that's why we went. There's other things that we just needed to get a little bit of a breakaway. But from the location freedom, being able to be together with my family, my wife and daughter, and be able to check out, I guess, because from that location aspect, was able to jump into meetings and see ER's face, and ER could see my face. We're on Zooms, we're on calls, we're with development, we're doing additional things, but we're in a different location. I think about the little meme, and it's the couple that's sitting in a boat in Venice and they're asleep. And they're like 85. And it was all due to, at that time, they had an opportunity to go travel and retire after 65. But I don't want to be that person. I want to be the ones that can experience that and not be asleep for the rest of my life and looking at some of those things. But being able to make sure that with this location freedom, we were able to go out and about. We were able to do what we wanted when we wanted, but also know that for work stance, had an opportunity to jump on from wherever I was to take care of little things or big things throughout the week. But knowing that I was able and dynamic enough to adjust and make things happen and have the opportunity to make things happen. And that's why we love this community, is you have the opportunity to do the same. It's all going to just be based on getting to that place where you feel comfortable enough to do it for yourself, or take the leap of faith and understand that opportunities are a dime a dozen. Yeah. But what is the value of an opportunity? You don't know it until you leave it. But once you're in it and you can advance that opportunity forward. I mean, Kathy, you've been on a guy who, I believe he said this is his third time around with LFI, and the light bulb finally clicked and said the opportunity is second to none. So not wanting to set here on opportunity, but to know that time, location, and financial freedom is all based on what you put in to get the results out.
Yeah, I think that's so true, Guy. And I think this is one of those things that I think we all get distracted of and discouraged about, and sometimes even chase that next shiny object about, is we're looking for the quick fix or the immediate instant gratification. And we don't expect that things will take work. And here's the reality, right? If you look at whatever you're doing right now, maybe you're retired, maybe you're not, maybe you're working a 9 to 5, maybe you're not, maybe you're on different ventures, or you're working different businesses. Take an opportunity to stand back and analyze it, and analyze what is coming in for what you're doing, and ask yourself, look, I want to set the right expectation for everybody. And I think that's really important, because a lot of people get a false expectation, right? I'm going to join this opportunity. I'm going to sit back and money's just going to start rolling in. And if you look at what you're doing right now, what the average person is doing right now, they're working 40, 60, 80 hours a week to make $4,000, $5,000, $8,000, whatever that is, in your unique situation. And ask yourself, is that a reasonable expectation? Because if you're going to expect to replace that income or be able to do it from anywhere, like we talked about last week with time freedom, or this week with location freedom, you have to set the right expectation for yourself. It's going to require work. If you want to do it faster, it's going to require hard work. You know what I mean? Guy and I have a lot to be grateful for, let's say that. But we also put in work consistently every day and every week. Yes, we're only on calls with you guys for 4 hours a week, and we invite you to join those calls, mainly to help motivate and inspire you guys to get out there and follow the path that we're sort of laying out for everybody. Why? Because we know that the results can be achieved by anybody. And I think that's what's so powerful, and something that's a driving force behind Guy and I, is there's an opportunity to take this vehicle to the world, not just the technology. And we're going to talk about that, and like learning how to use the technology and leverage the technology and all those benefits that can be gained, and how they can be gained by so many people. But for everybody on this call who's an LFI affiliate, who says, I want this to be a vehicle, the ultimate side hustle, whatever that is, set those expectations. What are your goals? We talked about it a little bit last week with time freedom. And I love the Friday with the Founders last week, Guy. Mike Snow came on and he said, basically he's had time freedom and he's just wearing out chairs back here as he works on his projects. But that most people didn't realize, and this is straight from Mike's mouth, that all you need to do is replace what you currently have in. So if you're looking at like people selling that dream of making $1 million a month, and I see it all the time, like all over the internet, and that's what they're doing. They're selling the dream. You're buying the dream, and that's how they're making their money. And most people who do that and go down that path, like most people, they're not implementing any of those skills. So here, it's the same thing. You have an opportunity here, and you can make whatever you want out of this vehicle. But the first goal should always be to replace what you currently have, and that opens up all the free time. And then the second goal can be, how do I scale that so I can scale my lifestyle? If you're unhappy with your lifestyle, and I think one of the things, Guy, we've been leaning into since day one is sort of that life by design type of thing, where we all start out with, what is your life by design? Because as I was mentioning in my story here, It's not, my life by design is not to make $1 million a month, guy. Maybe we make $1 million a month, so what? It's more about having 100% time freedom and location freedom to do what I want, where I want, when I want, especially with my family. And a lot of that just involves, forest bathing, getting out in nature and having fun together and spending time together. Last week was spring break for my kids, and my parents came in, the kids' grandparents came in, and there was an opportunity to be together with everybody, and to not just do it in between things. And I think that's so powerful as a why or as a motivator. But for you who are watching this, what is your life by design? What are your goals? Not wishes, but goals. And what is your plan to accomplish that? And if you don't have an idea or you need help creating some of that, reach out and get some tips and some tricks and talk to the community here that you're a part of, because it doesn't have to be uber complex. Maybe it's just supplementing your income. Maybe it's retiring your spouse early. Maybe it's both of you retiring early. You have complete time freedom. All of that's going to have a number associated with it. And then if you know what the number is, you can reverse engineer what it will take to get to that number. It is that simple. Once you understand that, then you can build an action plan. This is what Monday Sprint Planning is 100% about. What is my action plan? And I'll tell you what, Guy, right? We went through the wheel of life. I keep this up on my desk, right? What's important now, wheel of life, my plans on each of the spokes for the wheel of life, and laying out that life by design. And one of those things is we're going to review that plan every 6 months. Well, we're halfway through. We're 3 months in, and we've got another 3 months to go. And I don't worry. I don't sit there and look at that wheel of life and go through it every day. I think about the system and the process, the practice that I need to do every single day that will lead me towards those objectives. If it's a health thing, what am I doing every day that contributes to that? If it's a spiritual thing, a family thing, a personal thing, a financial thing, a career thing, and we should all be looking at that. Specifically, if this is about career and finance for you, and you've chosen Elify as your vehicle, right? The affiliate program, you need to be thinking about what is my plan this week to start to make forward progress in accomplishing that goal, in capitalizing on the ultimate side hustle. Because this is something where we know we're all in business now, right? But we have to treat our business like a business and not a hobby. So let's review what we did last week. Anybody can open up their Affiliate Central. How many referrals did you make? Because that's the revenue generating activity we're all looking at. How many direct referrals did you get? How many network referrals did you get? You know what I mean? All else aside, look at those two factors. And, Kathy hits the nail on the head with her comment right there, right? Share, 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 and follow up. It's that simple. The more you use Shuffle every day to supplement things, and we talked about this with time freedom last week, right? How am I creating efficiencies in my business by building pages or cards that support that? How am I creating efficiencies by doing set it and forget it types of follow-ups and notes for the contacts that I'm interacting with? This isn't rocket science, everybody. It is simple stuff that I know in my heart we are all capable of doing, but we want to make a plan. So, Guy, let's talk a little bit about planning. I posted in the Week at a Glance card. Obviously, if anybody has a tip, a trick, a comment, a question, feel free to keep putting it in there or raise your hand. But Guy, thoughts on anything? I know you've always been more of a listener.
Right. I got 2 of these time. But, I think when talking about share, being in action, doing different types of things, success is going to come from what you do, not what you do occasionally. It's from what you do consistently. And knowing here, every Monday, we're consistently jumping on for our sprint planning. Kathy is consistently hosting Tech Tuesdays at 2 on Tuesdays. Michael and Edwin are consistently doing Mindset of a Champion on Wednesday evenings. I believe they're even reducing the price. So if you aren't even in that group yet, I would go look for Mindset of a Champion. I think a lot of stuff is within the LFI Facebook pages where you can get access to those. Thursday ER, you're consistent with your roundtable. And then Friday, we're consistent with our Friday with the founders. When we get into, at the very beginning of the year, we talk goals. And, if somebody had a goal by the end of the first quarter and didn't reach it, it wasn't really based on the goal wasn't attainable. It was based on the action items that they did or did not do to get there. Goals are that slippery slope type thing that we talked about at the beginning of the year as well. If you reach a goal, a lot of people stop once they reach that goal and then just go back to how things were, the status quo. But being able to set those goals. But you are thinking about, if I had a goal of losing 10 pounds in a month or 2 months, or make $10,000 a month in 6 months, and I'm going down the path and I'm getting to a day, 24, 48 hours away from what I have date time stamped my goal to be, what do a lot of people do that they could make a simple adjustment to really attain those types of goals? The thought is, if it's obvious you're not going to reach your goal, don't change your goal. Change your habits. Change your habits.
Yeah.
Change your action steps. Change those action steps, action items, whatever words you want to put in. Those are the things you change. I still want to lose 10 pounds. I'm not going to say, I didn't get it. I'm going to move my goal back to 5.
Yeah.
That's not what I'll do. I will say, I need to change this morning routine. I need to change this habit. If I wanted to make $10,000 a month, I need to make changes that are actionable for me to reach those goals. It's going to be that we're very candid in here. My dad always said, you can wish in one hand and imagine what you do in the other and see which one fills that first. I've got to have action items so that it's not just a wish. It's not just a dream, a goal.
The word is crap.
You got it, Shelley.
Right?
You got it.
Thank you,
I couldn't think of. All I could think of is a word that started with S, not the C. But that's one thing that so many people lose sight of. That is not setting down and beating themselves up over not reaching a goal and not attaining it. It's what action steps do I need to adjust to get to where I wanted to go and can still get.
Guy, I've been thinking a lot, and I know you've got a background in coaching. For those who maybe don't know your story and your background, I'll toot your horn a little bit for you. You worked under one of the most winningest coaches. Well, first of all, you played at some of the highest levels, even the professional level in football. And you went on to coach. And you coached at both the college level and at the high school level for some of the winningest teams, won multiple state championships. And I remember talking with you and talking about each school year being a new year. And in high school sports, you have a class that's leaving every year. You have a class that's entering every year. You have this shakeup every year of what athletes you're going to have to work with in order to accomplish that goal. And, I'm even thinking about my own sports career when we start and, coach says, okay, here's the goal. We're going to win a state championship. We're going to be the best that we can be. We're going to set our eye on that prize, but you don't play the state championship game the first game. Heck, maybe you start out in spring training or some of those other things, but you have to set that goal and then you have to do action and work consistently, right? You guys showed up to practice, you hit the gym, you did the weights, you studied the playbook. Can you speak to that just a little bit in taking somebody, and I think this is relevant for everybody because these tools and stuff are applicable to every scenario when you put that mindset, and this is why I love Mindset of a Champion, when you put that mindset in place and you start working towards those goals. So Guy, I just want to tee that up for you, if you will.
Absolutely. And appreciate that. And appreciate you bringing up, because I don't talk a lot about that from the coaching aspect, but it correlates very well from athletics, especially high school athletics, to adults in business, because sometimes you feel like you're talking to the same person, even though you're not. There's a few years difference in maturity, but to understanding that we went into each year with a goal, right? The win the state championship, whatever that was.
Yep.
But then we sat down. And these were pre-meetings prior to the first practice, and that's the goal. And we all shared it. Then we took some time and said, what's it going to take to reach that goal? Write it down. Yeah. What do you think it's going to take to reach that goal? You have some smart aleck who says win. That's what it's going to take to reach that goal. And you go through, in Colorado, you win the state championship, you play 15 games. So you have 15 games you go through. But we knew that to strip it back, to tear it down, to understand that we're going to start each year, every year to reach that goal. We're going to start at the smallest, most incremental piece, but plays the biggest pivotal part. We were more in shape, more in tuned with how our body was going to perform from the first through the fourth quarter. We made sure that when it got to a 2-minute drill, we were fine-tuned, and it was all based on coming in shape. We ran every day. We ran the day before games to give you just an idea. I think a lot of times why we could perform so well at the highest level is we practiced harder than anybody. We practiced harder. So when you got into the game, it was simple. It was a cakewalk in some instances. I think that correlates over into any business. Is if you've got a meeting, if you've got a call, I've practiced that script. I've practiced what I'm going to send them, share them. I'm not going to go off and have the perfect business card developed on my first go. Yep. I'm going to practice building it. I'm going to practice sharing it. I'm going to send it out. I'm going to practice with the verbiage that I put in the text or an email that goes along with it, or an instant message through Messenger or whatever that is. I'm practicing to see what resonates with people, what inclines them enough to select the information. And we make it about them in business, right? It's not about us. It's about them. It's what's intriguing to them. What's intriguing to me, and I told Kathy last week, and I told ER, and we were on multiple calls with a few people. The upper hand that Shuffle affiliates have is to know that the business card is the number one and still the number one used marketing collateral in business. To know that there's 27 million printed cards a day, over 10 billion a year. And we know from the metrics that 90% of those end up in the trash in the first week. That's waste. That's all that really is. That's waste. But knowing that it's important enough for everybody to have one. So you have something that's important enough for everyone in business to be able to utilize. Yep. And to be able to utilize it in a digital way where you don't have to have all the waste, where they always have access to your card. When they're part of the platform, the program, they always have access to your card. So if we're talking about networking or referring, they have access to what you've created on a platform that points to the number one utilized marketing collateral that there is. So those are some types of things I want to leave out there for this week, knowing I'm going into conversations or I go to a networking event. I know people are going to hand business cards in. You get the opportunity to show that you have a digital card, and we'll be brazen enough to say we're the number one digital business card platform that there is because of what we do and what is coming. But to know that it's all built for you to be able to control what you want to have on it to share to who you want to, and to know that the more times you share, to Kathy's point, share, the more likelihood that you'll get exposure of your businesses, your opportunities, but you also expose the card to other people and talk about the value of the number one digital platform that there is, that is disrupting the number one marketing collateral that there is.
I mean, that's powerful. We talked a little bit last week about the total addressable market. To Guy's point, those numbers speak for themselves. Think about that. Just think about that. And think about you having an opportunity to stake your claim in every person you expose to LFI and to Shuffle. Like, that's what really excites me, Guy, is affording everybody that opportunity. Because here's the reality. Guy and I could be off directly marketing this out there on the internet and building up users and all of that type of stuff, and never open it up on the affiliate side at all. But because I had an opportunity early on in my life to see how much of an impact affiliate marketing could have as being a vehicle and a path to passive residual income, and knowing that the best path to, in my opinion, to time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom is to have a business or a system that you can run, we became passionate about making that available to everybody. But as I saw in the comments there, look, we can teach you guys how to fish, but you guys are the ones who are going to need to cast the line. And Guy, to your point, it's all about getting out there and practicing. And we'll help you practice. We'll train you. We'll do it together. But you have to understand what actions are required. And that's really, at the end of the day, what Monday Sprint Planning is all about, right? What actions are you going to be taking this week? Okay, not next week, not a month from now, just over the next 7 days. Maybe it's the next 5 days for you if you don't work on the weekends. And looking at, how do I reverse engineer where I want to get to? Because Guy, what you were talking about with just the athletic side of things, there's 14 games that we're going to play, guys. Somebody's going to be a smart ass and say, well, all we got to do is win. But you keep asking yourself that question. Well, how are we going to win, right? We're going to condition harder. We're going to practice more. We're going to study the film or learn that team before going in to play that game, so that we have an advantage and are more likely to win. So what do you need to do this week that's going to set you up for success? Now, we posted the week at a glance in there. You guys are doing Monday Sprint Planning. So you're already winning the first meeting of today, guys. Put a big star there on your sheet, scratch out if you need to, and you had it written down. That's part of it. We want to build momentum as we check off the things that we need to do. If we're reverse engineering it, we talk about, what if you referred one person a week? Okay, that means that gives you 5 days this week to bring in one referral into Shuffle. How are you going to do that? Are you going to go to a new meeting? Are you going to follow up with somebody this week? Are you going to start sharing your cards? Maybe you need to update a card. There are lots of things that you can be doing, but you need to reverse engineer that. But if you did one a week, that's 52 this year. And if you showed everybody that you did the same path and let them start doing it, in a year's worth of time, you would have a stream of passive residual income that costs you what? What does it cost to operate your LFI business? It costs the cost of your subscription, guys. There's no additional added costs. We're not gouging you on the prices on things. That's what makes this opportunity, to Guy, your point, second to none, the ultimate side hustle, because there isn't some exorbitant package. We don't charge for a ton of training. We just want to provide the system because we're passionate about seeing you guys be successful, because at the end of the day, your success is our success. So let's talk about it briefly. I want to show some stuff real quick, and I want to talk about 2 action items as we round out today's sprint planning. You guys saw it here. This is the week at a glance. If you're not engaged in this, look, guys, you better get engaged, or you better realize that you might be falling behind. Sprint planning, you're all here, so congratulations. Big first pat on the back. And I truly want to say that because you're committing and investing some of your time to be here and listen to us today and make that plan. On Tuesdays, Tech Tuesday at 2 with Kathy Inman. If you don't know how to use the technology, if you don't know what you have at your disposal, if you think that this is just a digital business card, No, digital business card is one aspect of that. But think about all of the problems that this solves, because when somebody tells you what their problem is, there's a good chance that Shuffle will solve one aspect of that, and you can really position it to help them out. So we want to focus on how to leverage the technology, because you got to build something worth sharing. You got to understand how to leverage what you have at your disposal. Wednesday, we talked about Edge Global and Mindset of a Champion. I truly think if you get in the right mindset, if you make that plan, if you're willing to put in the hard work necessary, anybody can accomplish anything that they set out to work on. You have to have a why. You have to develop those things. You have to learn some skills and have the right tools so that you can implement your plan and win. On Thursday, we're going to do a Thursday Roundtable Mastermind. As Guy said, I'm consistent on doing that every week. I'm going to do that 52 times this year. And I know one thing's for certain. I'm going to personally be better off for it. And I think everybody else who participates will be better off too. We're going to talk about a subject collectively as a group and work together to support each other and problem solve for each other. This week's topic, in addition to our location freedom, is all going to be about copywriting. Content is king. What is on your cards? It's not just how to lay out your cards like Kathy shows us on Tuesday. It's what are we putting on our cards that actually gets people to take action. And we're going to go into some detail. That's 11 a.m. Central on Thursday. Friday with the founders. It's one of my favorite calls of the week. Why? We get to get on a call together as a community, and we get to talk all things LFI. We get to hear from you guys and learn all of those things. And the last thing on this Week at a Glance card, we've got social groups. You have no excuse. You are supported. There is a community here. And I've even put in my own personal card on there so that if you need something, you could even reach out directly to me. Okay? No excuse. There's Facebook groups. I love the community that we're all a part of. And then there's the YouTube. There are plenty of these Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays that you can go back and watch the replay. And I'll tell you what, over time, these are getting better and better and better. And that's what I'm really thankful for. The little last thing I really want to go through on the sprint planning side, get a plan together, put it down in writing. If it means opening up a little calendar and putting something on here, guys, we're a little bit over on our sprint planning call. We're going to start wrapping this up. Tuesday, you got Tuesday here at 2 p.m. Central Time. That's 1 p.m. where I'm at. Mindset of a Champion. Make sure to engage in that. Thursday, Mastermind Roundtable. Friday, I keep it on my schedule so I know that I'm not going to plan something during that. I can work around that. I would take an opportunity to start blocking time, right? When are you going to actually work your business? Because the reality is, if you're just showing up to these calls, I'm glad you're a part of this community, but you're doing yourself a disservice. You actually have to work it, right? So when are you going to get out and work? What is your plan? You know, Kathy probably already knows what events and networking things online and offline she's doing this week. And she's going to meet new people at that event. I see her nodding her head. She's going to meet new people at that event. She's filling up her pipeline of new people to meet, and she's consistent with that. Think about an opportunity to go and join one networking event this week, online or offline, and just tell people who you are and what you do. Maybe share your Shuffle card, or maybe share a card that promotes you as an LFI affiliate about Shuffle. But block in time and schedule those things to do it so that you are making sure that you know when it's getting done. We talked about the wheel of life, guys. Everything can be blocked out, right? Are you committing time to your family, something for your health, meditation, workouts, things on the weekend? This is my schedule, guys. This is what it looks like. I've got meetings that fall into these blue things, and I'm outreaching and doing that type of stuff all the time. But this is how I block it out. So I don't have to worry about planning around, I can plan around things. And I've got enough time committed to do all of these things, right? Spouse time, family time, development calls. Guy, we talk about all of these things. As soon as I'm off this call, guess what? It's heads down, laser focused, diligent work effort for the remainder of the day. And I've got lots of things I'm going to be working on. Question is, what are you going to be working on? So it's not hard to make a plan, right? You got to know where you're going. You got to know what you need to do. Shelly, I love it. I love it. I see you holding up that plan. Like, that makes my heart sing, because I know that you're focused on that, And heck, maybe you're not going to execute your plan 100%. here's the reality. We talked about some books we've read in the past. We talked about the James Clear Atomic Habit book guy, right? 12-Week Year was another book. 65%, they said, if you can implement 65% of your plan, and this is talking from a perfectionist here, right? I like to execute 100% of my plan, but if you can get 65% of your plan accomplished, you're going to continue to move towards that goal. It's just the timeline, to Guy's point earlier, will start to extend out, but it's the habits over time that lead you to that. And every week you can improve 1% improvement every day, you'll start to get to mastery. It doesn't need to be, you've got to go out there and run a marathon. If you haven't crawled before you walked, before you run, you're not going to run an ultra marathon tomorrow. So what do you need to do to get started? Make your plan, put that down. Maybe it's to pick up the phone and make one phone call today because you haven't called anybody in a while. Maybe that's it for you. Or maybe it's to follow up with 2 people today, right? Who are those 2 people going to be? If you don't already have that in your mind, you're already behind the gun. Take an opportunity to put it down in writing, look at it, execute it, strike through everything if that's what motivates you throughout the day, and then look at it. If you've gotten more than 6 out of 10 things done off your plate for today, you get a W for the day. That's a win. If you do that 2 days in a row, you got 2 W's. Look, if you can get 4 out of 7 W's, more than you lost, you won the week. And if you consistently win every week, guess what? You're going to win the month, you're going to win the quarter, you're going to win the year. It's that simple. And that's all we're trying to expose everybody to. We're here to support you guys. We're here to inspire you guys. And we want to help you guys. So if you need anything, please reach out. Guy, otherwise, I'm going to throw it over to you. Let's wrap up this sprint planning for today. And I want to just sort of close myself in saying, I want to thank you guys for taking just a little bit of your time, the last 45 minutes, to listen to Guy and I sort of banter back and forth about, making a plan and sticking to your plan so that you can have everything that you want. And I truly hope that happens for each of you. And I know it will if you make a plan and execute it. So Guy, over to you.
We'll just wrap it up. Everyone have a great week. Again, see you tomorrow at Tech Tuesday at 2 with Kathy. Mindset of a Champion with Michael and Edwin, if you want to join that. We got Thursday Mastermind with the ER, sprint plan, or what are we doing on Friday? Oh yeah, Friday with Founders. So we got that coming this Friday. Just getting my head clear, back up, getting back home late last night. As you could probably also hear today, the Bulldog is extra tired. So he was waiting at the door, I guess, the whole time that we were gone. But I've got to give him some love. I've got to get to work. I know ER does as well, and you all do as well. So everyone have a great week, and we will talk soon. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.